Hi, this is Rob from iTech Pickers. Today I'm going to share with you an article that I found on the internet. It's called Why the View That Women Become Invisible Once They Turn 45 is Utter Nonsense. Invisibility really says more about the man whose eyesight is failing. So as you can see, this is an article written probably by an old woman over 50, an old delusional woman who doesn't want to admit the fact that yeah, she's invisible. And frankly, she's talking about invisibility, women becoming invisible after 45, when in fact women become invisible at a much younger age, like 30, or some other experts will say like 28 or 27 or even 25. So when a woman is 45, usually she's been invisible for at least 15 years. Um, we all know about this thing called the wall, where women are gonna hit the peak of their sexual marketplace value, beauty, or whatever you may want to call it. Then it goes downhill from there. Uh, they start getting the crow's feet, the lizard skin, the wrinkles, whatever. They start getting fat, start getting bingo wings. Um, at 45, usually the woman has been she's been invisible for a long time, and this old woman who wrote this article basically believes that she's not the one becoming invisible. It's men who are becoming blind. So talk about being delusional. Okay, so let's just read this article. So now I heard that some other bollocks in my life. So I'm guessing that this article is from an Australian magazine. So they're gonna be using all these weird words that we don't really hear here in North America. But I'll just read it the way it is. I just couldn't choose between the two of you, and the pain will be worth it. But this week I heard some next level shite. So it probably means like shite is probably like bullshit, according to her, of course, because I think she doesn't want to know the truth. Um, this new thing is called the age of invisibility, the age at which women disappear from the male view. It's 45, as decreed by Buffins. We don't seem aware of just how banging women now look at this age. After 45, men apparently stop seeing us, stop opening doors, whistling as we walk past building sites. Again, lady, you're very delusional because now you're pretending that it's after 45 when in fact it's after 30, it's after 28, it's after 27 years old that you start being invisible. When you're 45, you've been invisible for 15 years at least. So just get with the program. Um, I've heard of the visible signs of aging, smile lines, and a low tolerance for fuckwittery, and I've got a cream to fix both of those. But an age of invisibility, the sudden death knell of sex appeal, where in a blink you go from a babe in polka dots to Mad Aunt Dottie. This knocked me for six. After all the daft things women are told to do to maintain allure, all this eye gapping and hair plucking, now we're just going to fade into the background. Uh, that's the way it is. And you know, if you don't want to accept the truth, lady, that You are invisible, and you've been invisible for a long time. Uh, you should have known better when you were young. Uh, because I think a woman can make the best decisions, and if she doesn't delude herself. Women are at their peak between the age of 18 and 30, very conservatively, like between 18 and 30 years old. After that, they become invisible very quickly. And, it's a phenomenon called the wall, and there's not much you can do about it. Um, so, you know, you really need to face reality. As many as 67% of women claim they received less attention from men once they hit 45, and even Christy Brinkley said she felt invisible to men her own age. And if Christy feels invisible, then the rest of us must be nearly able to walk through walls. Well, as you can see, you're talking about 45 years old, and I'm telling you that invisibility starts at 30 years old, not 45. But you say it yourself. You're just not invisible just to the younger guys. You're invisible to the guys your own age, to the 45-year-old guys and the 50-year-old guys, and that's because we're wired differently. Uh, you know, we don't hit us men. We don't hit the wall at 30 like you women do. Actually, at 30, where we start being in our peak sexual marketplace value, it's estimated that we start being at our best at the ages between 35 and 45 for men. But when we are at our best, we actually look to the 18, 19, 20-year-old girls, like between 18 and 30-year-old. That's the kind of girls that we we look to at our age. We as men, when we are like 45, 50 years old, we don't look at the 45 and 50 years old women. We don't want these women. And the only guys who want these women, that's because they have like basically no self confidence, uh, and they just look for the bottom of the barrel. So I'm sorry to break it down to you. Uh, you know, guys your age, they just don't look at you, and they haven't been looking at you for a long time. So just face this fact. Columnist Emma Bradshaw wrote that she was quite pleased about it. She could now get things done without men shouting, "Nice tits," when she tried to post a letter. She saw it as a cloak of invisibility, a superpower. So now basically these delusional women in their 40s and 50s, now they're complaining that they don't get catcalled, they don't get whistled at by men, they don't get told that they have nice tits, and they don't get sexually harassed. Uh, and probably when they were younger, they probably were complaining of being harassed all the time. So, you know, uh, can't live with it and can't live without it, I guess. Um, yeah, but yeah, you're finding out that you're invisible, but the fact is, again, I'm telling you again, the truth is you were invisible for 15 years. I think invisibility is a choice. I'm invisible if you don't look below 5'2", and I once used this to infiltrate a pack of 7-foot rugger players to deliver an uppercut to the cat who broke my sister's heart. Invisibility believers cite not getting served in a bar as an example, or a pretty woman moment when you have a wallet full of cash, but staff ignore you. However, rudeness abounds in service industries due to the fact that the pay is dreadful and the staff are usually suffering hangovers. Perhaps go to a different bar? I may be short, but I refuse to be overlooked. Plus, you'd have to be deaf not to hear me. Any man who can't see me will be given a white stick to beat himself with. I believe all women can be sexy, elegant, have poise, and head turners at any age. Now, talk about being delusional. This is simply not true. Uh, Again, women have it all between the age of 18 and conservatively 30, but it goes downhill very fast from there. And they actually have an advantage over us men because us men, when we are 18, 19, 20 years old, the girls our age, they don't look at us. I mean, they don't get interested in us. For a lot of us, we don't have any money. We don't have a job. We don't have a car, and of course, women being what they are, they're not interested in us. And they'll be interested in the older guys who have stuff. And when we get older, we tend to become financially secure and to acquire material things. And then women look at us, you know. So you can't have it both ways again. So stop being delusional. After 30, your sexual marketplace value goes downhill very fast, okay? Uh, and it's not true that all women can be sexy, elegant, blah 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 at any age. It's simply not true. You can do your best to maybe help yourself, but you know you're basically swimming against the current, you know, after 30. So that's it. You know, you need to hear the truth. Fair cop, if you're tired of being admired and seen more nubs than a locksmith, the rest of us will still shine like butterflies who can't remember what they came into the kitchen for. Invisibility really says more about the man whose eyesight is failing. Young women are vulnerable and uncertain, and possess a politeness that hasn't learned to deal with unwanted attention from that guy passing and repassing like a shark, desperate for attention. By 45, that same woman has become more accomplished, with a stare that will shrivel his testicles. This is just painful. This is just painful to read. Never again will I have to endure some Egypt assuming I've been waiting at a bar for him. Prince Charming to swoop in and ask if I'd like to wear my ankles behind his ears. I do not forget what it's like to be assessed through a beer glass lens of desirability, yet having become so much more than just sexy. I will not go gently from anyone's sight. Your mother will never be invisible to me, said my stepfather. Same goes, said the younger man. And who yells nice tits these days? Two guys and a Ute yelled did at me just the other day, I said. What color was the Ute? He asked, bristling. It's a small town. Sort of a nondescript color, to be honest. I hardly noticed it. So now, basically, uh, this is representative of the delusion of these old women in the West. Uh, I've always said, older women. I know that there are younger guys who are actually interested in older women. I know that because I hear the young guys talking. You know, when they see an older woman that's still that doesn't look too bad. And but the thing is that the young men they believe that the mature woman is actually mature and has grown. more mature, smarter or wiser as she aged. But that's the problem with women when they're like 40, 45, 50 years old. What I've noticed that they never really grow past like 25 years old. They get older physically, but they still think like like a 25 years old, 20 years old. They don't get any smarter with time. And this woman who wrote this article basically, uh, she seems like she believes that she's still 25, that she's still got it, but she doesn't. She's invisible, and she doesn't want to grow up. She doesn't want to mature, become more mature. She still wants to believe that she's this 20-year-old that's got it, but she doesn't have it. Right? So let me tell you the truth, Lee. You're 45. You've been invisible for 15 years, and that's it. And just please accept it because you are really, really delusional. So, this was it with this article. If you have an opinion about what this delusional lady says, please feel free to post it in my in the comment section. So until next time, I'm Rob from iTech Pickers. So thanks for listening.